And with the same pressure and pulling, you're going to drape over entire bodies. First around the bust, next around the chest, the waistline, and the hips. Right? Okay, so we're going to drape the bodies, then we're going to drape the torso. Okay, so watch me what I'm doing, and then you want to do it. So hold the fabric, put your hand over the bust, and with the cross grain parallel to the floor. Stretch slightly. See that? Very little, slightly. Very little. Alright? We taking away the stretch factor. So we're not adjusting the pattern later on for the stretch factor. Does it make sense? So with the same stress, that's why you need to feel what you're doing. So when you're draping and stretching other parts, you're stretching with the same amount. You're stretching the same amount with the same stress and pressure. Otherwise, your set seam will be up and down, hills and mountains. All right? So I have stretched enough. And don't be excited to stretch a lot, okay? You still have to have an ease on the sloper as you drape, okay? So the next thing, you're going to come to the chest area, hold the fabric, and your hand goes over the chest, and with the same pressure, see which hand works to stretch? My right hand holds to stretch, and it's smooth. There is no air in between the fabric and the body, right? It's all smooth. Are you with me? All right. Once you've done this, pin the chest area. Pin the side seam. Okay, now you turn this over. And it's all smooth here. So you're going to pin exactly over the seam. Feel the seam and pin it. Now we're going to drape the neckline. To drape the neckline, you need to release some of the fabric around the neck. See, if I start draping the neck, what is happening? Stress lines. We need to get away from the extra fabric which is at the neck back. So what you need to do is go up approximately an inch from your neck pin, cut about to the extension level. See the extension level, underneath extension level, and cut out at the right angle. So this is out. Now what you're going to do is you're going to need to do little flips around the neckline, half an inch apart. Alright. Now your hand goes and holds the fabric from the top and just gently, slightly stretching it to fit the shoulder and the neck. Nice? Smooth? Right? Alright. The thing with this neat drape process is that you always have to hold your fabric as you stretch. So have your pins handy, pin few pins to the left side, so you're not stretching too long to get your pins from the pin box or your pin cushion, alright? So they have to be handy. So once again, hold the fabric and then stretch very gently. Don't stretch too much around the neckline. Your neckline will change the shape. Alright? So very slightly and very gently with the same pressure you pull your fabric at the side. So I'm holding the fabric, but I'm not sure that I'm pinning exactly on the shoulder seam. All I need to do is to hold the fabric. I stretched, right? So because the need recognized with qualities to retain the shape, if you leave your fabric free, it will come back to the previous shape, right? So you need to hold the fabric as you pin around the entire shoulder area. Don't worry about the seam yet. Around the shoulder area, you're pulling the pins. So now I'm okay to release it. All right, so it's going to be pinned around the armhole. The curve of the armhole will be pinned. All right, no bubbles, no air. That's all smooth. Okay? So now we're going to drape around the waist. There is no darts on the sloper, again for the same factor, because the knit will be molded as you stretch, and it will be fitted perfectly into the waist. So make sure that as you start stretching, the hem is still parallel to the floor. Okay? So put your hand over the waistline and stretch, move out the air as much as possible. And again, don't be excited too much to pull. So with the same pressure and stress you're pulling and putting the pin at the waist, and continue pinning the entire side seam, holding the fabric so pin the side seam area, and then we'll go back to pin the side seam exactly in the place. So it's like molding the sculpture, right? Okay, and then my hips will be fitted. I'm stretching my fabric around the hips. Make sure that the hem is parallel to the floor, no air, and pin to hold the fabric. And then we're going to go over the side seam.
So where the shirt ends is, or the fabric ends, is that going to be the bottom of our shirt, or do you want it to go to the hip level? Oh, I guess it depends on the... I'm confused.
Okay.
Okay.
The torso will be extended as long as possible according to the fabric, right?
Okay.
So then we're going to come and confirm the length for when we transfer to the paper. We're going to be 6 inches below the waist. But meanwhile, since the fabric was limited and we shared, we're going to go as far as we can.
Okay.
Okay? All right. So how do you like it?
Tight and sexy.
Tight and sexy. Well, that's going to be a sloper,
Okay.
and for your design you can modify. Okay, of course, we're not going to make it tight because you're not going to get it on the form. You still have to give the shape, right? And no knit top has this fitted shape. You need to give some, shape, some fit, but not that much. Okay? All right.
Unless it's like a leotard. That's
Yeah, basically, yes.
Can we put sleeves on it?
If you want to, the sleeves won't be draped